Welcome to Tifa Letters, the summer edition by the Filipino American Woman Project. I'm your host, Jen Amos, here to read aloud letters inspired by real conversations with you. It all begins with one line. If I could say one thing. Because sometimes one thing is all we need to take up a little more space. Let's get started. Dear Grandpa, or Lolo G, like the OG, if I could say one thing, it's this. I am more than the gender that was assigned to me at birth. It's almost my 30th birthday, and I think it's time that you knew. I want to tell you who I am, who I really am. I love you so much, Lolo G. I love our bond. So much I look up to you. In fact, I wanted to be like you. But you didn't want the same, simply because I was assigned female at birth. I love whistling, and every now and then, I really get into it. I don't even realize you're there. Hoy, Robin, are you a boy? Apparently, only boys whistle. My boy cousins would always invite me to hang out with them in their garage gym. And I don't want to just hang out. I want to lift weights too. And on occasion, you'd walk in on us and be like, "Hey, Anak, don't do that. You'll look like a man if you do." Even if we played outdoor sports, you'd tell me to, at least Robin, cover up, protect your fair skin. And whenever I got hurt, that was your opportunity to say, "Hey, it's okay. You don't have to keep doing that. You don't have to do outdoor sports." So indoors, I'd play video games because, again, my boy cousins would also play video games, and I didn't want to just hang out. I wanted to play with them. And of course, when you would check in on us, you'd be like, "Hey, Robin, you need to be reading. You shouldn't be playing video games." Okay, so I read comic books, but apparently that's what boys only do as well. Plus, according to you, it's not really reading. I mean, it's visual, but there's words. Then, when my brother kept putting off mowing the lawn, I took initiative. I was just about to start the mower when you yelled, "Hey, grandchild, no! You'll hurt yourself. Get your brother out here." Lolo G, I couldn't understand. I just wanted to be like my loved ones. You kept saying that I should be more like a woman. And if I don't, no man will fall in love with me. But Grandma has already passed and Mom is always working. Most of the relatives I enjoy spending time with are boys. And my girl cousins are just always gossiping about me because of it. So who am I supposed to model after? Luckily, I had some girlfriends at school who would invite me to sleepovers. Lola, you were always excited about this because I could finally learn to be a woman and to be with my kind. Well, little did you know that my girlfriends and I would playfully wear each other's clothes, and we'd even giggle about wearing our brothers' clothes. Of course, the brothers would always get upset. But secretly, I was surprised by how comfortable boys' wear was. At the ripe age of 18, it was time to leave home. And when I thought I'd feel some relief from you, Lolo G, little did I realize that the discomfort only grew. Every form I filled out asked me the same question: male or female? And this isn't anything new, but somehow every form I had to fill out, it just somehow felt like I was lying to myself. every time I selected female. Yet, I wasn't quite leaning toward male either. Most of my new friends in my young adult years would call me a tomboy, but I also loved wearing makeup. Makeup and fashion just gave me a chance to explore what felt right. In college, it had been impressed upon me by my friends that this is the time to really explore my identity. There were so many organizations on campus. There were student organizations, sororities, fraternities, professional organizations for your future career, you name it, they had it. I had noticed that there was a Filipino organization, but considering that I primarily grew up with my Filipino family, it just didn't feel right. It felt like it was time to explore something different. There was one organization that caught my eye, and it was just bright with rainbow colors. It was a queer organization. They had acronyms LGBTQIA+. I didn't know what all the letters meant. And even the rainbow flag itself, I'm saying this very simply, but it was more than rainbow colors. It was a very, very colorful flag. And the people at the booth were very, very colorful. But also, there was something about their look and their fashion that intrigued me. I wasn't ready to join, not yet. But I decided to look up their website. And on their website, one of the first things they had was a survey. What kind of queer are you? Well, I guess it wouldn't hurt to take this survey. I mean, no one's watching, and hopefully it's not one of those surveys that asks for your email just to send you the results. But even then, I'll use a fake email. All right, so what kind of queer am I? I decided to take this those fun personality tests. First question. Do you fully feel represented by the gender you were assigned at birth? Yes, sometimes, not really, or no. I couldn't help but stare at that question. Quite honestly, I've never seen a question like that, and I never knew to arrange words that way to even ask this kind of question. Am I even making sense with my inner thoughts right now? Regardless, do I feel fully represented by the gender I was assigned at birth? Well, not really. Next question. When you imagine your ideal self, do they look more masculine, more feminine, both, or neither? Well, I think about the important forms I had to fill out, and honestly, neither. Next question. Do you ever feel like you're performing your gender rather than living it? Performing. Yeah, that's exactly what I feel like I've been doing. Whenever I have to fill out female, it does feel like I'm performing. Has anyone ever told you that the way you dress, move, or express yourself doesn't match your gender? Oh, absolutely. Lolo G, that's you. And basically my girl cousins. How did that make you feel? Well, it made me feel uncomfortable. I guess I just never really understood why genders had to look, dress, move, or express themselves a certain way. Next question. If gender had no rules, how would you describe yourself? First thought that came to me, well, indescribable. And that was it. 5 simple questions. I submitted my answers and the web page started loading as if it was calculating the results. And when the web page refreshed itself, there it was, my answers, my result. And the result said, based on your answers, You may identify as non-binary, someone whose gender identity exists outside the categories of exclusively male or female. Does this resonate? We'd love to hear from you. If you're comfortable, our email is, I paused for a moment, thinking, well, that's kind of nice that they gave me the results without having to submit my email first. And they're even giving me the option to email them if I feel comfortable. But did this survey resonate? I mean, words can't even express how much it resonates. It's like the first time I have words to describe who I am, what I am, non-binary. And in the results, it showed the pronouns. You may identify with pronouns they, them, theirs. They, them, theirs. Wow. What a concept. For all my life, I always had to choose between female or male. Well, actually, female, just female. And even then, it's not like I wanted to choose to be male, but non-binary, they, them, theirs. I scrolled down the page and come to find that they had already curated relevant resources for me. Articles, testimonials of other people who identify as non-binary. What I thought was just going to be a fun 10-minute personality test ended up becoming hours of doing a deep dive on this website and going on their socials and looking up the online influencers that they were tagging who were pioneering language to describe people who identify as non-binary. Just reading about these people and hearing their lives and hearing their stories and hearing their language, somehow it felt like old friends that I had forgotten about. Somehow it felt like a homecoming, a sense of home that I never knew was there, and yet it was hiding in plain sight. It makes me think about my childhood and how well I knew my neighborhood. But every now and then I'd be like, oh, I never realized that coffee shop was there. And just like this, I had no idea that this language was here. This community is here. This understanding that not everyone wholeheartedly identifies as either male or female. So just like how I enjoy fashion and makeup and occasionally performing the female gender identity, I thought that I too would start trying on pronouns, they, them, theirs. I've always operated from trying to explain what I wasn't. And now I have the language to explain and describe who I am, who I really am. And somehow the world conspired to my favor. COVID hit, and we were all forced to be at home and to stay connected on video calls. And while for most people, and I don't say this lightly, but for most people, it was a hard time. But for me personally, it was a time of gender euphoria. On video calls, I started to notice people using pronouns next to their names. There would be John, he, him, his. There would be Jane, she, her. And while most of these were still identifying as male or female, I remember reading somewhere that the intent of sharing pronouns is to create a safe space for people like me who don't adhere to male or female. COVID times gave me an opportunity to safely explore my identity. In fact, I had been well out of college at this point, but I had collected my go-to resources and organizations to continue educating myself on my identity. And there were so many of us queer people, just hanging out online on video calls, not always talking, but sometimes just having a video in the background, just so we can be in community. And for so many of them, in fact, all of them, always had pronouns next to their names. And I remember there was this one particular person, the first person I saw, who used they, them, theirs next to their name. And just like performing, just like dressing up, just like putting on makeup, I decided, you know what? Let me try this on and see how it feels. I updated my name in my video calls. Robin. They, them, theirs. And wow, I gotta tell you, it was like putting on the perfect outfit, putting on the perfect amount of makeup. And most of all, it was like feeling comfortable and normal for the first time. They, them, theirs. Right there, visually, right in front of me, right next to my name. And for the first time, it felt like I wasn't performing, like the stars have aligned. And for the first time in my life, I actually look the way I feel about myself. I don't know if it was always the case, but it started to become clear to me that important forms were asking male, female, prefer not to say. And now feeling comfortable with having they, them, theirs next to my name on every video call, I started to check the box, prefer not to say, because why not? And if it asked me to clarify, I'd type they, them, theirs. One night, I was scrolling on my phone, super late, of course. Couldn't sleep. I know that being on my phone probably didn't help. When an advertisement came up for a Pride festival happening in town that weekend. And the advertisement had the same flashy rainbow plus colors that reminded me of coming across that queer organization on campus oh so many years ago. And somehow remembering that moment felt like a calling that has risen once again. I knew I had to go. I had to go to this Pride festival. So I went. I've never been to a Pride festival before, but oh my goodness, it was like stepping into a whole other world I didn't know existed. I saw a woman in a full tuxedo with flowers in her hair, a man in a flowing skirt and boots, laughing so hard he had to hold his stomach. Two people who looked of the same gender, matching outfits, holding hands, and what looked like older couples, just sitting together on their foldable chairs under a tree because it was oddly hot and bright and sunny that day. But then again, it's summer. And something about observing them, the calm, the peace, the gentle smile, as though they too have come back home. Kids running around with face paint in every color. So much joy, so much color, and it all just seemed normal for everyone here. I walked over to a booth selling t-shirts and other merchandise, and the first thing that caught my attention was a t-shirt saying in huge font, they, them, theirs. Across the front, the words stacked on top of each other. They, them, theirs. Hey there, I'm Jel. Pronouns she, her. You need a size? I looked up to see the girl volunteering at the booth. Okay, first and foremost, I'm in a world where people outright introduce themselves and say their pronouns verbally. I thought that was just a video call thing, but wow. Hi, I'm Robin. they, them. I feel like I gave her a weird look, like I was giving her a secret password. Robin, nice to meet you. First time here? Oh my gosh, was it that obvious? Yeah, first Pride Festival. And yeah, I'll take a medium size for this one, the t-shirt that says they, them, theirs. Fantastic. Let me get that set up for you. Did you come here with anyone, Robin? She asks me. No, just me. Well, then you must hang out with me and my girlfriend. I'm almost done with my volunteer shift. Why don't you check out the other booths and come back here in like 30 minutes? Really? You want to hang out with me? I just met this girl, but already my insecurities are just flaring up. Of course, she reassures me. It's your first time here. You came here alone, so let us be your friends for a day. I smiled, probably a little awkwardly. But while I waited for her, I decided to switch shirts and wear my new t-shirt, they, them, theirs. I can't really explain what it felt like to walk around in public at the festival with Jel and her girlfriend while I was visibly wearing this t-shirt. The whole day felt like a blur of joy and peace and harmony and calm. From checking out all the other booths together to watching the performances, especially the drag performances. I mean, I need to take some notes from the contouring these drag queens can pull off, to the music and the color and the fun. I didn't realize I would be there all day, all the way till the evening, when we're just chilling in the big lawn, watching the evening performances, but far enough for Jel and I to chat. Jel shared with me her coming out story. When she first came out to her best friend, now ex-best friend, and how that ex-best friend publicly shamed her for it. Yeah, Jel says to me, my former best friend made me feel like a broken, ugly, fugly alien. And then years later, they came out as bisexual and they were celebrated for it. I could tell Jel was getting heated up sharing this story. But you know what? She said. That was many, many, many years ago now. I see her reach over to hold hands with her girlfriend. The thing is, I'm glad that happened. I'm glad that my very own best friend rejected me because I learned that the love I thought I needed from that best friend, I needed to give it to myself first. Then, mid-sentence, we both jump. Fireworks have gone off. Completely unexpected, but we were immediately taken by the spectacle. Big, full, bright rainbow fireworks exploding everywhere, and everyone cheering and screaming. Some people were dancing, and I just took it all in. I mean, what a splendor. You know what, Robin? I look over at Jel. I understand. I mean, we, all of us here, understand what it means to feel misunderstood and even alienated from our own loved ones simply because we didn't adhere to heteronormative ways. But what I've learned is that that rejection turned out to be redirection. I love where I am today. I love who I get to love today. I love who I get to be today. And all of that was because all that rejection redirected me here. We weren't looking at the fireworks anymore. I was just taking in what she said. Rejection as redirection. That's right, because most of my life has been about what I wasn't. But it was all redirecting me to this moment, to this place, to this sense of belonging, finally. I turn my attention to the fireworks. I smile. and I say out loud, I'm Robin. I'm non-binary, and my pronouns are they, them, and theirs. Shortly after the festival, I felt like a changed person. So much that I went to the barber, and without question, but simply knowing it was time, I decided to get a haircut. My hairstylist asked me if I just wanted to trim my split ends. And I said no, actually. And I pulled up a photo of a man's look along with other visuals of non-binary identifying people and their hairstyles. And I said, I want to look like this. See, the thing is, Lolo G, I know that you loved my long, black, virgin hair. But for all my life, I just preferred to keep it in a bun. I didn't want anything to do with it. I know you wanted me to always have it down and flowy and beautiful and all the things that make it very obvious that I'm a woman. But I told the barber, cut it. I'm almost turning 30, and what a perfect time to ring in the new decade with who I really am. And Lolo G, I can't wait to come back home and tell you all of this, to show you all of this and all of who I am today. Back at home, in my apartment, admiring my brand new haircut and starting to think about what kind of makeup or clothes I want to wear with this new do, my phone rang. It was my mom. I picked up the phone. Mother? See, the thing is, I haven't really talked to my mom in a while, and she gave me space, which I actually appreciated. So the fact that she called when she normally doesn't call, the moment I heard her voice, I knew. Mother, it's okay. Everything's going to be okay. I already had plans to come back home. I'll be home soon. I love you. I hung up the phone and I looked in the mirror, and the joy that was once on my face became washed with grief. Lolo G, I finally figured out who I was, and I was so excited to tell you, and now you're gone. Going back home felt like a complete blur, like we were just going through the motions, preparing for Lolo G's funeral. Everyone was so preoccupied. No one even commented on my new haircut. But it didn't matter. I wanted to be there for my mother. I wanted to be there for my family. This wasn't about me. And out of respect for you, Lolo G, I wore a black dress for your memorial service and for your funeral. It was a beautiful day to bury you, even though it was very somber. But I knew you would like this day, Lolo. You always enjoyed summer. You always enjoyed the humidity. And even though you didn't like me outdoors, you loved being outdoors. I just turned 30, Lolo G, and in honor of my new identity, I decided to update my driver's license. My pronouns are officially they, them, theirs now. But you'll never know. You'll never see. And Lolo G, if there's one thing I could say, it's this. I wish I had the chance to show you who I am today, but not just today, who I've always been. But because I can't, I'll make sure everyone else knows moving forward. Love, Robin. They, them, theirs. If you could reflect on one thing, it's this. How did rejection redirect you to reclaiming and expressing who you really are? Want to respond? You can reply today at tfaletters.com. That's TFAW, as in the Filipino American Woman, letters.com. Or better yet, write your own letter. Submissions are now open. You can include your name or stay completely anonymous. So, if you could say one thing, what would it be? Subscribe for free today at tfaletters.com and follow the steps in the welcome email to submit your letter. I hope to read yours in the next season. Until the next letter, bye for now.